lot of people go missing in these mountains here behind me.
People have been attacked, heard their own voices, and seen shadow figures.
We watched 3 red nail marks appear down her back.
They're both going off at the same exact time.
That is crazy.
Did you just move?
No, I heard that though. That is phenomenal.
We're in Apache Junction, Arizona, out in the Wild West, and we are standing in what is said to be one of the most haunted Wild West ghost towns in all of Arizona. This place has a lot of history, and it doesn't just begin with the gold rush and the prospectors that came out here. I mean, this place has so much history baked into this land that leads, all of it leads back to the mountains that overlook this creepy area.
We just got here to the Goldfield Ghost Town, community, whatever you want to call this little thing. It is a makeup of a recreation of a bunch of buildings here. And we are at the base of the Superstition Mountain, as you can see behind me there. Now, a lot of people go missing in these mountains here behind me, and there are a lot of superstitions with those mountains given the name.
This town sits right at the base of the Superstition Mountains, and that's one of the things that actually is said to draw the paranormal activity to this entire area, because leading all the way back to the Apache Tribe, they believe the Superstition Mountains were cursed.
Out here in the Arizona desert, there is literally what is described as an ocean of gold right beneath us. And in the 1890s, men came out here, found it, and got extremely rich, but only for 5 years, because the mines flooded at the end of 1897. These men pulling gold from the earth is what they did. It's what they were good at. They were extremely brave to do so, but they might have heeded warning a little more. There are many legends about the Superstition Mountains, and the fact that this town was built right at the foot of them didn't stop everybody. But it probably should have, because for centuries, people have not only gone missing in those mountains, but have actually died and been found, and most of them were actually looking for the gold. Now, the town of Goldfield, not every man here was, wiped out in some kind of fury from the mountain, but the mines did flood, which is a very unique thing to happen in the middle of the Arizona desert. After a 5-year run, both beginning and ending in the month of October, the Mammoth Mine would make these men rich, but also be the very same mine shaft that flooded, very unexpectedly, ending Goldfield's lifespan of a gold mining town.
And it's hard to tell if the activity that they experience in these buildings comes from the land or comes from the prospectors that are said to be buried all throughout this area. Because the buildings, the structures aren't original. They're recreations of what a Wild West town would have looked like back in the 1800s. It certainly wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world to say that their spirits may inhabit the buildings that were put up here to demonstrate and display what Goldfield looked like here in Arizona.
To the Apaches that roamed this land, that mountain was sacred. Their god, the thunder god, lived within that mountain. He guarded a literal portal to hell. The gold was in the mountain, but the Native Americans had no need for this gold. But it was part of their sacred church, if you will, inside the Superstition Mountain. So when men got greedy and came to pretty much blow holes into their church with dynamite, they were angered. And between that thunder god who says, "Do not lay eyes on the gold or you will die," them and these Native Americans were able to supposedly put a curse on the mountain that haunts the entire land, that if you die within this desert, or as they put it, in the shadow of that mountain, you will be forced to dwell here forever.
It's very important to point out that when Matt says a portal to hell, he doesn't literally mean hell, because the Apache didn't believe in hell. The mountains were believed to be a doorway to the lower world, or underworld, which was holy and spiritual to them, not evil, and it's where they believed that all creation took place. But the idea behind a curse on those who steal from the mountains could be plausible, because stealing from the mountains would be considered to be stealing from the gods or the creators of life in the underworld. Stealing from this mountain would have been seen as stealing from the origin of all life.
There's a whole lot to it, and it is very, very creepy. The things that allegedly go on here in this community, in this little town. And I'm excited to meet up with everybody else and see what we can have happen tonight while we are here. I think it's going to be a good night, something completely different than what we've ever done.
People have been attacked, scratched. People have allegedly heard their own voices and seen shadow figures, and doors have slammed, and there's a lot of potential for paranormal activity tonight.
If I spoke of everything off the top of my head, we'd probably be here till dawn. But there are more ghost stories here than anywhere that I've ever been, and a lot of that is because the curse on the mountain claiming that all who die within this desert are forced to dwell here. That wouldn't have just been the prospectors from all those years ago. It'd be every walk of life to this very day. It would make sense that this town was particularly haunted. And there are hundreds of ghost stories, and nobody that works in this town works here long without getting their first very real paranormal experience. I think what really convinced me beyond a shadow of a doubt was the night that myself and several other friends were in the very room that I'm sitting in now, by coincidence. I simply pointed at one of my friends by the name of Bethany. And I said, if there's something here that wants to speak with Bethany or knows the name of the woman that I'm pointing to, just say her name. Of course, expecting nothing but a laugh afterwards, it actually happened. Right in the very room that I'm sitting, we heard her name spoken aloud, a disembodied voice say, Bethany. I asked again if there's something here that truly, unmistakably wants to make their presence known. Say the name of the woman I am pointing to a second time, and I promise I won't ask a third time. When from the darkness of the room right behind me that you can see there, Bethany. That second time sent everybody running out of the room, except for myself, my friend Michael, who was also a part of Fear Frontier, and believe it or not, Bethany herself. Though it might have been against her will, because Bethany had actually collapsed to the floor once this happened, and when Michael and I went to help her off the ground, she was extremely pale, tears in her eyes, her head rolled back, and we watched 3 red nail marks begin to appear down her chest. As frightened as we were, we grabbed her by the arms, trying to get her to safety out the front door. While doing so, we watched 3 more red nail marks appear down her back. Now, after we were able to get her out of the building, things calmed down. She sort of came back to normal. She was very nervous to ever re-enter this building again, the Bordello. But that night is 100% true and has caused myself and others to be very weary of what they do and say in the vicinity of the walls that surround me right now.
All of these stories and strange paranormal experiences bring up a very interesting question. A question that some people are skeptical of, and that is, can hauntings come from the land on which the buildings sit? That is the exact question the Goldfield Ghost Town poses tonight, because every structure here, even the recreated mine, was built less than 40 years ago after 1985. The original town of Goldfield, Arizona did sit here, but those structures are long gone. Tonight, we'll find out if the curse of the Superstition Mountains really has cursed this visitor's attraction with terrifying paranormal activity.
The mine is highly unpredictable. I get a sense of whatever's down there is familiar with me and is no stranger to joking around with me. Sort of like a prank scaring, but I'm hard to frighten. I sort of enjoy it, but our ghost tour ventures down there. And we've seen grown men run off the tour screaming. Because whatever's down there, it can be very playful, it can be very curious, but it can also be aggressive.
But with the sun going down and a lot of paranormal activity to explore here tonight, let's go inside and meet up with the crew, with the team that runs the paranormal tours and investigations here at the Goldfield Ghost Town in Apache Junction, Arizona. So we're here in the Goldfield Ghost Town right now. Matt and I are in the Bordello. Dave is going to be sitting out because he is not feeling well. So Matt and I are going to tackle this particular area right here where the ladies of the night are said to roam. And you told us some really creepy experiences from in here. So
there are quite a few, and I will not be surprised if there are some more added tonight.
I hope so. We have a camera back here in what would this have been called? That's like the matron's area, right?
The one in the farthest room?
Yes.
Yes, that is the madam's room.
Madam's room.
Extremely active. It also, on certain nights, doesn't like to be photographed, so don't be surprised if the camera malfunctions a little bit or something in there sort of seems to like mess with the technology a little bit. It's fascinating, actually, how often it happens.
We'll find out, I guess, because we have a camera back in there rolling, and then we're going to have this camera out here. You can see we have equipment set up. We have the REM pod on the table here. We also have the epoch, which I am going to turn around so that we can actually see it. Then we are going to have the epoch here, REM pod there, Mel meter back in the area where you heard Bethany.
Yeah. Right on cue.
What was that?
I don't know, but that's where Bethany's name was called. Whatever that sound was.
That was like a rattling sound.
That.
Hello?
Right when you said Bethany.
If there's someone back there, can you...
That didn't take long at all.
We're the only people in this
We are
building.
the only ones here now. That rattling is coming from what is known as the parlor. Is there somebody in the parlor?
If you don't like that green light sitting in there, you can push it onto the floor. I won't be mad.
Did you just hear footsteps?
Ooh, the epoch. I didn't capture, but the epoch just lit up yes. But I did hear something there.
I thought I heard footsteps. Almost like heels.
I'm actually going to sneak back in here behind you. That way I can film you and the... Oop, that was me. Which is a good time to show everyone. I put 2 cat balls in the shot glasses here. I bumped the desk there, the bar, and it made the shot glass light up. But if anyone wants a shot, feel free to grab that.
Now, hopefully, you guys can hear it as well, but opposite of... There it goes again. Opposite of me in what is known as the parlor, there's a strange... almost vibrating sound, but it's inside the room, almost like part of the furniture. And then we thought we heard what might have been footsteps, but it was very faint.
Very quickly, I am going to walk over there just to see if I can get a closer listen to where it's coming from.
Okay.
There are some mannequins here that are... but they wouldn't be vibrating.
I've heard that they move. I've never seen that happen, but I've heard that they move. The closest I got, there was a selfie somebody took with the one that's standing to your right, and her head did look as if it was in a different position, as if it was looking down, maybe like further down than normal. That's the closest I've seen. The girl showed me the pictures, like, is this normal? I'm like, no, that's something's happening in that photo, but I've never seen one walk across the room. However, I have been here during the morning or something, and then somebody will come to unlock this door to come in and go to work for daytime tours, and they will freak out, run back out, claiming that the mannequin is in a different room than when they locked up the night before. So I've not seen them move, but I've seen evidence of them being where they weren't left, which is also pretty startling.
That would be.
Now, maybe that sound we're hearing is one trying to move, because one of them has a rod that's holding her upright. Maybe that's the rod that we're hearing move.
Maybe. I'm going to listen here for a second and see if I can hear. Can you make that sound again for me? Whoa.
That was
Yeah, there it was.
no delay. Feels like being cooperative tonight.
Thank you if that was you. I can't tell if that's coming from up or down.
It is hard to tell. It's a strange sound. If that's you making that sound, might you be able to make another sound equally as audible, but perhaps maybe like a knock, move an object or something?
Whoa.
Something behind me.
I heard that. That might be me. That's the floorboard underneath of me.
Now, there might be someone on either side of us, but is there someone behind the bar? And if so, feel free to have a shot on me. One of the glasses next to the bullets. Or perhaps you like music. There's a music box there that will play a delightful tune if you step in front of it.
And it's an open bar. Nobody's guarding it. You can go back there and grab whatever you want.
The bar is yours.
Okay. I wonder if there's maybe an animal in here. Like a bat or something not to make a bat in the belfry.
I hear you. Now, the thing is, I've heard bats in there before. It happens, but the thing about bats is they don't go very long without squeaking.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that, and
Wait.
I also think we'd frighten them away. I'm not saying that it's not that, but
Yeah. I thought I just heard something different. I wonder if my mic will have captured that, because it was like behind me here, and it sounded like a breath. Now, it could have just been pareidolia with a different sound, but...
Well, if you're going to hear it, that's a great place too. As mentioned earlier, when I told the story of Bethany, that the second time we heard her name was literally where we're hearing that sound now and where you would have heard that breath. I've heard bats in there before. It happens, but the thing about bats is they don't go very long without squeaking.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that, and
Wait.
I also think we'd frighten them away.
See, that sounds like scratching.
That sounds like scratching. That sounded literally in the room behind you. Like that wasn't a bat in the belfry. That sounded like it was literally behind you. If there's...
Oh, wait. I just heard what I think I heard before. I think it's a pigeon, because I heard the just now. I think we might have debunked that. a very responsive pigeon if it is a pigeon. We'll put a pin in it and say that it might be a pigeon because I thought I just heard a sound. It could be on the roof, you know?
It's possible, of course. That's not a pigeon. I don't know what that second sound is, but that noise sounded... Some of it sounds low, but you have a whole room to interact with. A whole parlor and a bar. All kinds of furniture that dates back to the 1890s with items inside that date back to the 1890s. Some of it might be familiar to you. Would you like to interact with any of it for us? Communicate or perhaps entertain us? Did you just move a...
I didn't move. It sounded like...
I thought I saw a shadow.
Behind me?
Like across this wall, but it might have been... I thought it was your shadow, but I'm not sure how you would have cast it.
No, because the only window that could really bring light in is coming from this area behind me. Okay. Well, what if we leave you to this stuff and we'll go back to the madam's room? And we'll hear this stuff if it goes off.
It's a very creaky walk to the madam's room.
It is.
But feel free to interact. There's this chair there, by the way. If anybody here wants to, yes, interact with anything out here, do so while we're gone. We'll come right back. I'll assume that was me.
That hasn't...
Is it me?
Gone off the whole time that we were...
Or is there somebody in the tub? An old copper bathtub here that, strange as it might sound, is also known for a lot of activity. It honestly, a lot of the time, sounds like we can hear people getting in and out of it. That might sound strange, but if you heard it, you'd know exactly what I mean. And it's also common for photographs to be taken with very strange, ghostly, almost looks like a black curtain is like standing in the tub. It's really weird. It's hard to explain, but we see it a lot lately, actually.
Is the madam here? Or anyone? Maybe you're a John. If that was you that was touching that really bright red candle, making it change colors, can you do it again for us? Or maybe you can just touch the bathtub and that should make that go off too.
Is there anybody here that recognizes me or the sound of my voice? I brought a gentleman here that would like to meet you. Perhaps you could say hi.
Hello.
Perhaps you could make him feel at home.
That is only if you want to. You don't have to.
Or if not home, maybe a welcome guest.
I'm going to stand on the carpet here because that floorboard that I'm on is creaky.
It's a very creaky building.
here in a minute, I'm going to go get a box that we think you can put your voice on, that you can use the sound that it makes to speak through. Would you like to speak to us? If you want to speak to us, you can touch any of these red lights, or there's a green one in there in the parlor area. Or you can move the shot glass.
It's a little abnormally quiet at the moment.
A little bit.
Maybe they'll speak through the box, but I'm like, as far as like the actual room goes, it is oddly quiet.
Mm-hmm. But you never know, it could change in an instant.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it happen.
You're more than welcome to use our energy. You can touch us.
That ain't one of us.
No.
We're about as far away from it as we can be.
Yeah. Let's just to test it, let's just walk backwards and then walk forwards again. Just to make sure that it wasn't. All right, and... Nope. Definitely wasn't. Well, thank you for touching that.
We appreciate it.
We're going to go get that box, and hopefully you'll speak through it. I'm going to go ahead and do Ghost Tube Vox just for a second, because I want to be able to see. This is, of course, a mutual friend of ours, Amy's Crypt. They created this.
You remember Amy's Crypt?
Do you remember Amy and Jared?
Amy, Jared, and I investigate up here too. Very active night. A stormy night. Do you remember it? Did I say I've seen something? You? I doubt I said you too. It sounded like you too, but I doubt that's what I said, but you.
Well, if you remember Amy and Jared, this is a tool they created.
Did that say?
Is having to.
Thought it said a name.
Same as.
Sounded a lot like Rachel.
Did it?
Robinson.
We've heard
Robinson.
We've heard the name Rachel up here, and it's associated with some dark stuff.
Really?
Yeah, the short version is multiple nights in a row with a spirit box. We heard a name say Rachel, or a voice say Rachel, asking for help. And every night we would be like, "How can we help you, Rachel?" And she'd say, "I need help, I need help." And it was the same voice every time through the traditional radio frequency static spirit box activity and that. And then one day we're like, "Rachel, we're here to help you. You need to tell us how to help." And then a very dark voice suddenly came through. It said, "Don't help." And we never heard from Rachel again.
Have to do.
But then that sounded like it said Rachel.
If this is
Almost.
one of the men who was in charge around the town, you can't keep these ladies here. They have free will.
Lower.
Do you understand that? Megan.
There might have been. 1800. I mean, there would have been a lot of different women.
I swear, this said, when you were getting ready to talk, I thought I heard 1800.
1800. 1800 and what?
Don't you have to.
90 something maybe. There's someone here that's trying to keep the women here for themselves, won't let them leave, doesn't want them to leave, thinks they're his.
My own.
Portal.
I just heard that. Through
Portal.
the portal.
Portal, that's what they call the, essentially the gateway to hell. The Apaches believe in the mountain, but it translates to portal. Portal to hell.
That is interesting. Is that a portal?
Did you just say portal again?
Oh, maybe two.
Or maybe two?
Two.
Got two portals.
Portal.
Portal. It likes that word.
It just said portal again.
Is that 3 times?
Yeah,
At
this
least?
is it, and it's sweeping radio, just like a spirit box would. 3 times in a row it says portal. That makes no sense.
Portal
Here's how
and then possibly gold.
I sing in the.
And it told me to shut up.
That is okay. I'm like, is that does just say shut up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna set this right here. Okay. Do you believe that the Superstition Mountains are a portal? A portal to hell?
Oh.
No.
Yeah, that was a very clear woman saying no.
But the Apaches would have called it portal to hell. If you are not Apache, you might have a different opinion on it. But something keeps you here. If it's not a portal to hell, what is it?
Quickly.
Quickly what?
Why are you stuck in Goldfield? Or this desert? What keeps you here?
Out.
Out?
That was very aggressive.
It was. It went very silent there for a long time.
Maybe it's confused why. Maybe they are confused why they can't leave.
Do you know that you've died?
They.
Me or maybe? Do you dwell amongst the dead? Are you a
Never keep this.
Can't repeat this.
Yeah, can't repeat this.
Up.
What if I said Bethany?
This is the vice.
Can you repeat that? Can you say Bethany?
Yeah, can you say Bethany? I heard something in this room say that name twice. Can you say it? Did I just say it? Bethany.
It sounded a lot like it. Ooh. Oh, I kind of have chills. We'll have to replay that back and see if it actually did. See if it did say it.
Yeah, can you say Bethany? I heard something in this room say that name twice. Can you say it? Did I just say it? Bethany.
It sounded a lot like it. Ooh. Oh, I kind of have chills.
It sounded a lot like Bethany. Has an accent, but it sounds almost Hispanic. Maybe there would have been a lot of Hispanic people mining out here.
Let's listen to it one more time.
That sounds a
It
lot
sounds
like
a lot like it.
It sounded a lot.
If any.
So, everyone in the comments, go ahead and let us know. Did you hear Bethany as well? It did sound like it. If it did say it, it said it with an accent. We want to put it out to you all because we could be experiencing pareidolia or apophenia. You know, our brains could be hearing it because we think that's what it's saying. So you tell us down in the comments, are you hearing Bethany? But that sounded a lot like it.
It did. And in my opinion, it sounded almost Hispanic. But the thing is, some of the earliest miners here would have been Hispanic, mostly from a family known as the Peralta family. They would have been coming out here for years. And even before them, the conquistadors back in the 1500s would have been out here, Spaniards. So there was a lot of early Spanish mining history with this place. So there is a chance that a Hispanic accent could make sense.
Yeah.
But I would also like to know in the comments what you're hearing.
Would it be possible to sit in the bathtub?
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah. I've people have done that, and it's gotten results before. So yeah, they're both going off. Both of them are going off at the same exact time.
Now that one in there. If you want me to sit in the bathtub in there, can you make that light up again?
Is that what that was about? I mean, it just went 4th of July by the bathtub, so maybe that is what that's about.
Let me really quickly ask Dave if he's sitting out here. Because Dave is sitting outside. He's not feeling well, so he's just been chilling outside here. Let me ask him if he actually used the car key, the key fob on the car, because the key fob on the car will set off REM pods.
From that distance?
I'm not sure. I've never tried it from that distance, to be honest. Hey, Dave. Oh, he's not even out here. He must have gone somewhere.
People do just tend to disappear out here. Haha.
Yeah. He's not even sitting down there anymore, so it definitely wasn't him. And he's nowhere near the car. He must have just wandered off to hopefully not go and be with the mountains.
Sounds like the start of a horror movie. Oh, he must have just wandered off by himself. He went to get help.
Okay. Set the ovilus right here at the end of the bed. And I am going to go ahead and sit down in the tub if that's okay. That's me. Whoops. Is this okay?
Cards. Fade.
Ooh. Watch that table out there, Matt. It just said cards.
Well, we got perfect place for cards right here. There's even some cards in one of these pockets. Feel free to play a game. I'll sit this one out. I'll observe.
What's your favorite card game?
I thought I just heard some tapping on the table.
Apocalypse.
No lie.
Solstice.
Are you
I don't
trying to
know.
play cards?
I don't know if any of the mics picked it up because it was quiet, but I thought I heard tapping across the table, possibly.
Okay. Can you tap louder on the table?
Gentlemen, have a seat around the table.
Equal.
That box that I set over there at the end of the bed, on the trunk, we believe that that can be used to make words so you can speak to us. Tell us about yourself. Can you say one of our names?
Or maybe you can tell us your name.
Now, a bath would have been a service that they could have provided. It would have cost money, but a lot of times before the gentlemen could spend the night with the women, if the women wanted them to have a bath, it was mandatory that they had to take one. So Ryan's in the bathtub. If you want to assist him, go ahead. He's waiting.
Disease. Dirty.
Did that just say disease and dirty?
It said disease and dirty.
That is phenomenal.
That is correct.
Because the other part, no joke. I'm not making this up because I was literally about to say this before I decided not to. When women requested that a man be put in the bathtub, the number one reason is they feared disease and they were dirty. The thing is, though, a lot of times the women would put alcohol, whiskey, in the bathtub water, and if the man reacted with pain, they feared there might have been a cut or something on his skin, and they could refuse the service.
Oh, wow.
So the fact that disease and dirty just came through is extremely on point.
That is cool. Well, you don't have to worry. I've already bathed today, and I don't have any disease. But I'm just here to talk. I'm not here for any services.
Loud knock in one of these rooms. In fact, I think it was the service room they call it, right when you said services.
Potential. Potential for what?
Potential service. Is there somebody in the service room right now? Rebecca.
Rebecca.
I think I've heard that name before.
Rebecca, if that's your name. Rebecca, if that's your name, can you touch one of these lights to let us know? I'll sit back away from it so you can touch it. That was me.
You know what also might be scary, frightening? I'm trying to remember when I heard the name Rebecca. Stab. There was a stabbing in here. There was a knife fight. The carpet that's underneath the poker table, there's actually blood stains in the wood beneath this carpet from an old knife fight.
Oh, wow.
There was a night, though, that I thought I heard the name Rebecca. If I'm thinking of the correct night, you see as you're in the madam's room, the door that leads to the madam's room, there's a dress hanging on the door, correct?
Yes, yeah, I was actually going to comment on that dress earlier.
Yeah, it's very eerie looking in the dark. The thing is, though, I'm not positive I'm thinking of the correct night because there's been a lot of nights I've been in here. But I swear one night when the name Rebecca was said through a spirit box, I said, "Where is Rebecca?" And I think it said inside the dress. And then that door creaked very loudly after that happened.
That's interesting. Rebecca, if that's your dress, can you shut that door? Go ahead and just push it shut. I mean, I'd like a little privacy. I'm in the bathtub. Will you allow me some dignity?
The Bordello, what dignity. Now, what's also great is that door has the most gnarly, like, haunted house creak ever. So if it actually does begin to shut, you might fly out of that tub, just giving you a warning. It sounds right out of a classic horror movie.
I hope she does it then.
Yeah.
I'd love to fly out of this tub. I thought I heard like a knocking sound.
Yeah, I'm hearing that too, and I have not been able to tell if it's me. I've heard it a couple times. What's that?
Oh, I think the air just kicked on.
No, we turned it off.
I
have no idea what that sound is. It sounds like running water almost.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Are
Maybe
they
the
really
water
trying
heater?
to draw you a bath?
Maybe. Do you think it could be the water heater?
It could be a number of things. I don't recall hearing it, but I don't know. I did turn the air completely off. I finally was able to get it to go completely silent.
Enjoy.
What is that?
It said enjoy.
Tina.
Enjoy Tina.
Oh, Tina, at your service. And it's like we just heard like running water and then enjoy.
Well, Tina, I'm just here to talk. I'm not here to enjoy anyone. I'm here to enjoy some conversation, so I'm going to go ahead and get out of the tub here. Try my best to, do it gracefully.
Conversation would have been a service as well. There was a lot more to the brothel than the reputation kind of allows people to know.
Yeah.
Conversation, reading, writing, these are things that also would have been requested from the women in
that's
here.
me. Sorry. I bumped the tub into the REM pod. Interesting that I didn't even think of this. It didn't really say any men's names.
I think you were
You
were in the company of ladies, considering the situation where you were seated.
Yeah. It said Paula, it said Rebecca, it said Tina.
Maybe all the gentlemen were out here playing cards, but the lights don't say it, but doesn't mean they're not here, I suppose.
Well, thank you for anyone who talked to us while we spent time in here. And Allison and Cag have been over at the mine shaft, so if you want to see what Allison and Cag actually captured over there, go over to the Adelaide Haunted Horizons YouTube channel. And I'm going to head over there now myself and see what actually waits for me in the dark, creepy, and haunted mine shaft of the Goldfield Ghost Town. Let's go. All right, so I'm here in front of the mine shaft, and Matt is getting ready to unlock it, and we're gonna go down here and investigate. And this is a very creepy mine shaft, so check this out. Getting it all unlocked. Goldfield Mine. Grab the tripod camera here. And down we go.
You can go ahead and step in. I'm going to lock us in. This will officially be like a lockdown.
A literal lockdown.
Yeah.
Locked in a mine shaft. Luckily, you have the keys to get us out.
Yeah, let me double check that real quick. Yes, I do. Here we go. Watch your step. Steps here.
Okay.
Step here. Remember, in 1897, they hit an aquifer that flooded the place. So, the level we are going on is the only one that's no longer flooded. But it's extremely active. Watch your step here.
I'm a little confused about what Matt is talking about. In my research of the Goldfield Ghost Town, I found an article in the Apache Junction Public Library that says definitively this recreated mine shaft was built after 1985, above ground due to insurance purposes, and then buried to simulate a real mine shaft.
Yep. So nothing should be able to follow us. It's got a lot to go through in order to do that. Welcome to one of the shafts of the Goldfield mines.
It's even equipped with air conditioning and a simulated elevator experience to provide the illusion of going underground for visitors of the ghost town attraction. In the moment this was filmed, I have no idea that this was never a part of the gold mines. It wasn't until I got home that I realized that this is just a recreation.
Now, when it flooded, was there anyone in the mine that actually got trapped, or?
Yeah, there were 7 levels to the mine, and then level 7 would have definitely had a bit of a panic. There are 2 versions of the story. There is the version where everybody gets out alive, but a lot of people think that's just an optimistic version that they say because they would have understood how to emergency evacuate. However, getting all those men out of the 7th level, which was about 1,058 feet in the ground, most people say would have been impossible. So the most common theory is that people on level 7 drowned. Level 6 through 1, we're not completely sure because this town kept really bad death records. The number of casualties in this town are unknown because there was no law in the town at the time, and I think in order to help them get away with stuff, they purposely kept bad death records, kind of swept a lot of things under the rug. There's a lot of mysterious deaths, but that is the air compressor to what is an elevator, and that happened.
Talk about a wake-up call.
Yeah. So now we know Ryan's not jumpy.
I've had my fair share of jumpy situations in the past.
So there are a few, we'll say, paranormal hotspots down here. 2 of them are...
I heard that.
This is a blasting wall behind me, so something's trying to interact with a blasting wall where they would have put a wall full of dynamite, but that was interesting. 2 of the main spots that I have experienced the most activity are right when we first enter. There are a set of drills, steam-powered drills known as the Sullivan rock hammers, but they were so dangerous to use and so many men died using them that these Sullivan rock hammers are actually nicknamed the Widowmakers. One, they put enough debris into the air that it destroyed the lungs of the men that used them over time. And the other reason is because there was so much pressure that ran behind them. If you misused one, it had a kickback that was strong enough to decapitate the man using them, earning them the nicknames the Widowmakers. The other is there is a suit, like a jumpsuit or a miner's garb, hanging over there on the wall, but it's more akin to the 1950s or 1960s, which means it doesn't belong here, which is great because nobody knows where it came from. It's a suit that just appeared one day hanging on a hook, and as funny as it sounds, no one knows where it came from, and it makes people uncomfortable, especially those that have a connection with the paranormal. When they're down here, they will often say they suddenly feel their skin burning, or they feel dizzy, or that it's interacting with them. And then maybe it's a conduit or something, but it's a suit that we have called Danny. We've named it Danny, and spirit boxes as well as mediums will often get the name Danny when they're down here, and then people will suddenly feel very threatened, harassed. Danny's even known to be a little bit perverted towards some that venture into the mine. We don't know what he is, but he's not kind, and whatever the real name is, we're not sure, but we refer to him as Danny, or on spirit boxes, the one that we call Danny, which we do get responses from. And the other 2 things that are actually very active down here, which is funny enough, right over behind me, there's a box that looks like a ore cart with a lid on it, but that is actually an old toilet that's about 125 years old, and for whatever reason, a lot of activity and REM pod activity and spirit box activity, as well as just strange sounds, happen right near it. We think it might still be a gathering place for ghosts that are having a break or a casual moment to their eternity. The other is further down the mine shaft, a large room that is known as the Stope. Now, the Stope, I would say, would be the most active place in the town, the most active place in the mine, which makes it possibly the most active place in the town. That is a part, though, that where I've seen more skeptics become believers than anywhere I've ever been. So we definitely want to spend some time there. It also gets extremely dark down there, and there's a few other spirits that actually have names that we can talk about down there too. But yeah, so we're about to go on this venture.
Yeah, do we want to go to the Stope first and then work our way back? Because actually, I want to set the FLIR up, maybe down here, and point it down that way through this area.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, we can do that.
See if we can capture any movement or any strange temperature anomalies. So we'll
that
start
happens a lot here too. Yeah.
We'll start at the Stope, and then we'll work our way back to the potty, and then back here towards the entrance on the way back out.
And the potty is nicknamed the Honey Wagon. That is what the miners would have called it.
The Honey Wagon.
The Honey Wagon.
Oh my gosh. Let's set this up here. I'm going to set this down right here for right now. Let that continue to roll. Okay.
We got benches here too.
Perfect.
This is the stope, and this is an extremely active place. Everything you can think of happens in here, from people getting aggressively touched to disembodied voices to seeing apparitions, hearing noises around you. It all happens in here like pretty easily.
Okay. Where'd be the best place to set up that you think?
Sometimes we've put cameras right here on this old water pump, but it's kind of up to you. You could also use the benches. There's a flat platform on the stairs there, bench over there.
I tell you what, why don't I set the camera
Some saddles
up?
right there.
Why don't I set the camera up over here? We can use the benches and the steps
Okay.
to our advantage. Use this as a wide angle, and then we'll have the handheld. If there's anyone down here with us, just want to introduce myself. My name is Ryan, and I'm sure you know Matt.
Yeah, I've been down here a time or two. Feel free to respond accordingly.
We have lots of lights that you can get close to, and they're just ways that you can show us that you're here. You can also speak, you can move something. We'd love to hear your voice. Ooh. Epoch just said no. I was probably standing in the way of that.
I hope you wouldn't want to respond no. I mean, you can be particularly chatty. Don't know why tonight would be any exception.
We heard there's gold down here. We came looking for gold.
Might you know where some gold is? Maybe you could point us in the right direction? Is there anyone down here that wants to communicate with us? Are you wanting us to think you're not here? With all due respect, I happen to know that you are. You might not be feeling particularly chatty, but I know you're here. Is there even one that wants to let their presence be known?
Interesting.
Why are you all being so quiet tonight?
What was that?
I actually don't know.
Whatever that was deep and heavy.
Like very bassy.
Yeah.
Is that one of you interacting with something?
If there's anyone down that way, follow the sound of my voice.
I truly don't know what that is. Because I know what the air compressor in the elevator sounds like. I know what the air conditioner sounds like. I have no idea what I'm hearing. This is like the quietest I've ever heard you guys. You guys like offended or something?
So, because there's not a lot going on down here, we're going to go down to the honey wagon and see if anyone's down there. Maybe that's why they're not talking to us. They're preoccupied with toiletries.
This is the Honey Wagon, a 125-year-old toilet with its own reading material. This wouldn't be reading material. This had a completely different use, but there's a reason why it's there.
You read it before you use it.
Exactly. It's an old Sears catalog, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I don't know why the Honey Wagon is particularly active, but, I mean, it's not the Honey Wagon that's active, but things around it. It's very common to hear things communicate with you right here, as if it's a meeting ground or something. And I'm going to sneak right past here. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people will be like, well, how's this a toilet? But it's actually a two-seated toilet. And when you hold up one of the lids like this, you can kind of see how much this actually is, in fact, a toilet. Two-seater with once upon a time having leather exterior on it. You can kind of see a little bit over there. So this at one point would have actually been a pretty fancy commode that they called the Honey Wagon. And there was actually a guy that was paid to push the Honey Wagon up and down the shaft. He's called the Honey Dipper. And he's called the Honey Dipper because every 12 hours, he takes one of these, which also makes a pretty decent trigger object. But he would take a great big ladle like this and sort of scoop everything out, empty everything into buckets, taking those buckets to the surface to empty out. This man was also, unfortunately, the lowest paid man in the entire mine shaft. Had a crappy job. So, if there's anyone around here, we're hanging out by the Honey Wagon.
Oops. I'm going to go ahead and set this right here on the Honey Wagon.
Sometimes people set stuff up on this, but yeah, that works.
I'm the new Honey Dipper. And I'm getting ready to take a few ladles up to the surface. So this is your last chance to use the Honey Wagon before I take it up. Feel free to have a seat.
Any takers? Don't worry, we won't watch.
With a two-seater, I'm not sure if people watching was much of their concern.
And as dark as it would have been down here. Something else that's interesting. In the earlier days of the mine, gold theft was a little bit more of a common problem than it was in the latter half of the mine's run. Now, a lot of times, one of the most common ways for people to try to steal gold in the earlier part of the mine was to hide gold in the Honey Wagon, probably under the assumption, who's going to look in there? But they got wise to those that tried to hide gold in the Honey Wagon, and it became a rule that if you were caught with gold that wasn't yours, there would be no trial, but you would immediately be taken up out of the mine, and you would be hanged. Is there anybody here that witnessed such a thing, or had such a thing done to them? Or is there anyone here that was actually brave enough to try and steal gold from these mines? It's okay to speak up now. It's all water under the bridge. But we'd love to know the story. You ever try to steal gold?
Go ahead and light that light up green if you stole gold.
It actually did light up green a minute ago.
It did, yeah. It flashed green. Get as close as you can to that, and we think you can use that box to answer our questions. At least that's the idea, anyway. You can use the color of the lights to say yes or no.
Did you ever try and steal gold from these mines? Any of them. There is the Goldfield mine are made up by several different mines. The Mammoth, the Bulldog, the Wasp, the Black Queen, the Tom Thumb. There's a lot of them. I think there's one called the George Washington. There's a lot of mine shafts. In fact, I think there's about 88 miles worth of tunnel before the aquifer hit. And all that 88 mile, at any point did you ever think about stealing gold? It's okay to fess up now. Any punishment you might have faced, you either already have, or it's long past the time that you would have to. Jeffrey, I don't know if we can see you based on that, but might you be able to communicate with us? Jeffrey, if you're here, touch the honey wagon. Something's tapping, but I can't quite tell. If there's anyone here tapping, I appreciate if you do it lower, closer to us.
Let me walk further down here and see if maybe I can pinpoint. Because if it is coming from the ductwork when the air conditioning shut off and the piping is heating up after having the cold air run through it, just be like an expanding and contracting of it.
It could simply be that.
Oh. Actually, yeah, it came from right here at this vent.
Vent up high or vent down low?
That vent right
Oh,
there.
okay.
Came from like right at this T right here after that.
Okay.
So now that we're closer, we can definitely tell that it's coming from that. So, debunked. Bill Nye would be proud.
So is there nobody down here that wants to talk? I'm a bit surprised. There's nights I come down here and I can't keep you guys from trying to communicate. What makes tonight different? Just something about Ryan you don't like?
Telling you, we were a tough act to follow. You had some ladies down here a few minutes ago.
This is true.
Bunch of men working down here in the mine all day. Have some ladies come down to talk to them, and then 2 men come down.
Yeah.
We're not very appealing after that. After
Yeah,
the
we
ladies.
come down, we just ruin your party.
All right, I'm going to turn on this tool that we like to use to experiment with. I'm going to set it right there and see if maybe you can use that to make pictures. There's words in it, and we believe the way it works is you use your energy and get close to this, and it'll select words, and then those words will be sent to an image generator, and you can make a picture for us. Doesn't matter what it is.
Do you want me over there as well?
If you actually want to, you can stand back there by that other camera.
Which one?
That one back there. Whoops. And then that way if something happens down there and you hear it, do a little divide and conquer here. And I'll describe the image to you as it comes through. And then...
I can tell if it makes sense.
Yeah? I'm going to sit down right here on the stairs.
Ryan is sitting in a spot that one might need to be very brave to sit in. Is there anyone on the stairs that wants to communicate with Ryan? In particular, Jeffrey. That is most commonly where he is seen. But is there anybody? This time, if you interact with him on the stairs, the device he's using may be able to use electronics to reveal an image to him.
It does have an image. I see it almost looks like a building, like a large building. That is, or it may not be a building, I'm not sure, but
Might it be made out of wood?
I can't really tell what it's made out of because it's so abstract, because it's crumbled in the middle and it looks like it's on fire in the middle.
Could it be like that tower I showed you outside?
It's more square, like large square or large rectangular building. It does look to be more like concrete, which wouldn't make much sense, but...
Yeah. First I thought you were describing a head frame, which is what they use to lower the men down here. Although, Could also be a cage. How do you know it's a building? Could it be smaller?
It might be. I'm not sure. The windows would have been very, very small if it was smaller.
Well, they were lowered down here through a 9-man cage.
Okay.
And it would have looked kind of like a steel phone booth.
Oh. Yeah, this was very long, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was like a very long. But you see how that made an image? Even if that's not really what you're trying to tell us, maybe you can get a little bit closer to it, select different words, if that's something you can do. We'd love to see something about you, your life, what it was like to work down here. You can walk up the stairs towards me. We should be able to see you walk up the stairs and maybe even hear you. Did you just move?
No, I heard that though. That thud.
Yeah.
Someone up there finally making some sound. Can you do it again?
There's a lot of people that believe and had believed that there is a curse on these mountains. Here we go. Very cartoonish people. I don't even know what they're wearing, to be honest. It doesn't look like anything mining related. They're like red satin robes. They have these like crown things on. It doesn't really look to be anything.
People see red robed and red hooded figures in our church, I've heard.
Oh.
I've never seen it, but I've heard of other people seeing it.
Yeah, the only thing that could possibly be relevant is they are wearing a lot of gold, like the crowns are made of gold and there's gold behind them.
Could be symbolism for maybe what they wanted to have.
If you're mad that you couldn't even sneak out a little gold through the honey wagon while rich people got richer and kept the gold for themselves, the gold that you worked hard to mine, throw something or light up one of these bright things that look like candles. Get close to it, they'll get brighter and different colors.
At this point, Matt and I have been down here in this recreated mine shaft for over an hour, and absolutely nothing has happened. Despite my desire to document evidence of this curse that traps paranormal activity here, tonight just doesn't seem to be the night. And with only a couple of strange occurrences in the Bordello.
He's waiting.
Disease, dirty.
Did that just say disease and dirty?
It said disease and dirty.
That is phenomenal.
Tonight's adventure has been more entertaining than terrifying. But that's the beauty of paranormal investigating. You never know what's going to happen. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video on the next adventure of our paranormal quest.